Mimi ni mwanabiashara wa hapa Labor Compound. Tunatumia kulingana hiyo mambo ya sukari. Tunatumia sukari hivyo kuuzia chai na kunyala manyumbani.
What Owino might not know is that the exact location where he has been innocently serving customers tea for years is at the heart of the secret repackaging of contraband sugar.
Hapa ndio kuna siri kubwa ndio inafanyika. Kuanzia saa 11 ikielekea unusu mpaka usiku wote.
Shimanzi area, situated a few kilometers from the Kilindini harbour, houses hundreds of privately owned godowns. Inside the godowns, repackaging of contraband goods, including sugar, has been secretly going on for years. A classified multi-agency report by the Ministry of Interior indicates that on 31st May 2018, detectives discovered the repackaging of expired rice valued at a staggering 3 million shillings at Shimanzi area. The report further reveals that the seizure unearthed the second highest out of the 19 batches of contraband foodstuff confiscated by the police at various locations in the country by the end of May. This is also backed by the 2015 parliamentary report from Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperatives, which observed, and I quote, substantial amounts of illegal sugar imports is repackaged into local branded bags to conceal identity and evade the surveillance network. The 2015 report further established that industrial sugar has been found repackaged and ended up in the market to compete with the table sugar that has been subjected to duty, hence evading taxation. There are reasons the bulk of dirty work is being conducted in the Shimanzi area.
Hiyo ni kitu ambayo iko wazi. Maana ukiangalia katika hizi mangodauni zote wachizi ziko hapa hii area. Zote ziko Changamwe na hii mitaa hapa Makande. Unapata askari wanaingia huko, unajua wanafanya nini? Wanaingia wanatoka. Wanaingia wanatoka. Na ukipata ngodauni hakuna mtu anaingia pale. Unapata kuna wafanyikazi kama 10 na unajua inaendelea pale. Ni askari na wakubwa wanaingia pale.
With all factors remaining constant, it normally takes a truck driver approximately 10 minutes to transport goods from the Kenya Ports Authority Gate 5 to its destined destination or warehouses and godowns in Shimanzi. This particular factor has made this particular place so strategic to key players involved.
Our informer, who we will name James for security purposes, confessed to us that he, alongside many others, have at one time or the other repackaged contraband goods, including the recently imported bulk sugar, at specific godowns in Shimanzi area. We set out with James to find out which specific godowns have been carrying out the repackaging. During the day, most godowns in Shimanzi area appear to be closed, but do not be fooled. Secret repackaging of contraband goods occurs during the night. We are warned that any suspicion about the secret filming we are doing could end up in a deadly confrontation. The group of youth who hang around are not just mere handlers or idlers. Some are armed while others act as informers. This area is heavily secured by culprits involved who appear to have a close-knit network.
Sasa si wanapakia zinaenda moja kwa moja, sijui inaenda wapi. Kuna tu gari inapakiwa inaenda. Usiku yani ndio wanafanya kazi ya kubadilisha gari ikiwa tayari ndio. Unanipata? Kuanzia saa 11 ikielekea unusu mpaka usiku wote hivi. Ndio kazi inafanyika. Mafuta si hapa tayari ndio ngome yake hii. Mahali hizo gari zimesimama hapa mafuta inaingia kila kitu. hapa. Hiyo inalindwa ni wa Somalia vile vile. Najua wamekodisha. Kule kukodisha. Lakini sasa go down ya mtu fulani. Shapata.
Ndio.
Yet, a few traders conduct the secret business during the day. In June, detectives raided godowns belonging to Hydrip Limited, one of the importers of bulk duty-free sugar in 2017, situated just next to Shimanzi area and adjacent to Moi Avenue. Police found workers at the godowns repackaging an estimated 300,000 bags of brown sugar into these white 50 kg bags. The bags were not clearly marked unfit for human consumption. Detectives also sought to establish whether the company imported expired brown sugar processed in Egypt in 2012 and which was to expire in 2015, as well as the bulk commodity being stored under unhygienic conditions. The company directors admitted repackaging sugar and further told the Joint Parliamentary Committee investigating the sugar crisis that they were certified to do so by KEBS.
We have all the certificates of importations, SGS at the time of loading, and KEBS at the time of discharge. They'd given us the certificates of clean report.
But this is not the first time Hydrip Limited was caught on the wrong side of the law. The 2015 Departmental Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperatives blacklisted the same company together with 4 others, namely Krish Commodities Limited, Greasewood Enterprises Limited, Sheikh Distributors Limited and Shri Sai Industries for flouting sugar import license conditions.
I don't know how you managed to get the practicing license to continue to trade and now your stores here are full. So we just want you probably to, first of all, whether you are aware that there is a recommendation like that your company was sort of banned from doing business in sugar.
No, there's nothing like that. We have not.
No, you're not aware?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Na wale wanaohusika pia wanajulikana, lakini hawashikwi, hawafanyi chochote. Lakini mtu ambaye ana pesa, ana uwezo, anashikwa on time. Mbona wakisikia kitu kidogo hapo, mtu ambaye ana uwezo wa pesa anashikwa dakika moja, wakisikia mung'ari wauzwa mahali wanamshika huyo. Lakini mambo yale mabaya makubwa wanafanya wao, manake wao wako na nguvu. Sasa tutafanya nini?
Ni makosa sana kama Kenya kuna Bureau of Standard, kuna wale testers wa government testers walijua hii kitu inaingia. Na iliingia mameli nyingi sana. Na kama walitest hata list meli moja, kumaanisha watu walikuwa wanaingiza hii sukari, walijua mpango lio sukari.
Our investigations on the unclear circumstances on repackaging of sugar at godowns situated in Mombasa established 8 stations. Police found suspected contraband sugar in all these stations, which are Mombasa Denco Invested Limited, 116,525 bags of brown sugar in 50 kg bags worth over 400 million shillings. Mombasa Kipevu, 104,537 bags of sugar worth over 365 million shillings. Mombasa Changamwe Balo Logistics, 50,000 bags of 50 kgs worth over 175 million shillings. Mombasa Changamwe Balo Logistics, 122,839 bags of sugar worth over 429 million shillings. Mombasa Changamwe, where 551,000 bags of sugar was found, and Mombasa area G section Kilindini port, where contraband sugar worth 28 million shillings was confiscated by detectives.
Are suspected to have contraband.
Regional DCI boss was reluctant to disclose the names of the companies and go down to the Joint Parliamentary Committee which toured the area.
I am not giving a list of centers or points which have contraband or which have contraband sugar. And I may request, Chairman, allow me not to table that point at this stage. You have stated very well that we join together with the head of the motor agency and we table out any report that we will make. But at this point, with honor, I request I hold it. I table it when we make it full.
Maanake serikali yenyewe ikajua kama kupenda kwetu inawashika mara moja hapo kwa hapo. Manake wanawajua lakini wanawaacha, manake wanakula nao na wako pamoja pia. Na hiyo dili wanacheza wao watu wakubwa.
A presidential roundtable session in May 2018 set up a multi-agency team headed by Deputy Head of Public Service Wanyama Musiambo to spearhead efforts in eradicating contraband goods in the country, which continue to pose danger on the security and health of citizens. The agencies involved are Kenya Revenue Authority KRA, Kenya Bureau of Standards KEBS, Anti-Counterfeit Agency ACA, National Police Service, Immigration Department, Public Health, NEMA, Office of the President, and the National Intelligence Service.
This is a fight of all Kenyans against a vice that denies our people jobs. It is a fight against a vice that denies our people essential services. It is a vice that denies us of our ability to develop our country and to protect future generations. So I believe we need to come together and understand it. And that's why I've been very quiet. I have no problem. I have full confidence in the agencies that we have to do their job. People are out there bandying my brother yesterday. I've said, if he's guilty, I endele. What is the problem?
I am here to assure you, we will go the whole hog. This is not your usual type of things you have been hearing around. We will investigate, we will come back. This is a different ball game. Take it from me. And for those who have been making phone calls and threatening people and doing all this, let me tell these officers in your hearing, and I want to say this in the hearing of the country, we are not deluded that we are engaged in a very serious war. We are under no illusion. I am not under any illusion that we are engaged in a very serious war. A war that could mean anything.
Sugar is the most affected commodity from a total of 13 sectors that have been adversely affected by the illicit trade as a result of illegal infiltration of contraband goods. Contraband sugar seized by the multi-agency team is worth over 5 billion shillings. Agriculture and livestock, beauty and cosmetics, liquor, building and construction, electrical, household, foodstuffs, water, leather, motor vehicle industry, oil and gas, cigarettes and textiles are among the sectors hugely affected. The multi-agency team also singled out 7 entry and exit points prone to the passage of contraband goods. They include Mombasa Port, Shimoni, Moyale, Lunga Lunga, Isebania, Busia, Malaba and Eldoret Airport. We picked on one of them, Shimoni. Reason: the 2015 Departmental Committee singled out the old harbour, which was a slavery trade hub, as the main entry point used to facilitate illegal entry of sugar, and I quote, this with the knowledge of custom officers and police. Shimoni Port, an ancient British slavery port, is situated in South Coast near the border of Tanzania and directly faces Wasini Island in Kwale County. The road from Likoni Ferry to Ukunda is tarmacked, but motorists have to endure a grueling 20 kilometers of rough terrain to access the port. The small port receives goods between Kenya, Zambia and Pemba Island and is managed by the Kenya Ports Authority alongside Kenya Revenue Authority and Immigration Department. But that is not all. The port has since been identified as a secret smuggling station with illicit trade occurring mostly during the night. A boat operator seeking anonymity disclosed to us that unspecified goods arrive at the port via these large dhows and are loaded onto small trucks which depart the port mostly in the thick of night to unknown destinations.
Kwa hiyo wenye kupitia mzigo hapa ni hao wenyewe hao. Na hakuna mtu anazuia mzigo hapa. Watu wa KEBS, KRA, hakuna kitu anazuia hapa. Mzigo unapita through. Tia watu wa KEBS wanalalamikiwa hapa. Wao wanafanya kupigwa simu kutoka State House. Korina fulani yapita bana. Mzigo unapita unaenda na hakuna mtu asimamisha hapa. Polisi changama ashaambiwa bana boss ana kazi. Ushetembea hapa maeneo ya polisi hapo. Unasikia polisi bado wanaitwa na jioni. Na usiye naambia kuna kazi nyingine ya ziada. Ukishafunga kazi, kuna kazi nyingine ya ziada. Hiyo kazi ya ziada ni nini? Si hizo kazi zinafanyika hapa.
We asked the port manager named Gregory to respond to the claims, but he said he was not authorized to speak to the media. Our efforts to secure an interview from the then acting MD or KPS Communications Department on the issue were futile. On our way back, we saw more smaller trucks heading into and out of the old port. We counted 2 police roadblocks from Mukunda South Coast to Likoni Ferry. We headed back to Mombasa's main port at Kilindini Harbour to establish how imported black duty-free sugar was mishandled by port authorities and a section of importers that led to the sweetener being contaminated with higher level of moisture content, yeast and mold, together with polarization, making it unfit for human consumption. In our investigations, we established that 13 companies imported bulk duty-free sugar in an unbagged state, although we failed to secure an interview with the relevant maritime agencies on the vessels involved in the transportation of the bulk sugar to Kenya. We established a number of deep-sea bulk carriers that docked at the Kilindini Harbour, among them MV The Holy, which brought 50,500 metric tons belonging to Sony Sugar in December, MV King Coffee and MV Iliana, which ferried 38,000 metric tons and 40,000 metric tons belonging to a number of companies such as Hydri-P Limited, Stantwave, Commodity House, One Commodity and Green Energy Limited. The port department at Kilindini Harbour raised concern over the handling of imported sugar loaded in MV King Coffee. Authorities raised concern as to why MV Holy, loaded with 50,500 metric tons of Sony sugar-owned commodity, was exempted from taxation despite docking in December, 2 months past the duty-free window.
Our concern was the handling of that sugar.
On 27 October 2017, the same health department raised a red flag after discovering that imported and bagged bulk sugar was leaving the port contrary to the standards set by KEBS.
A lot of sugar has been imported into the country in the past few months to meet the current shortage. Usually, imported sugar is rebagged from the country of origin. But this time around, some of the consignments have been imported in bulk without rebagging at the country of origin or bagging at the country of origin. And it is expected that rebagging is done at the port before it is taken to the final destination. It has been noted that some of the consignments leave the port without rebagging. This exposes the sugar to contamination, hence becoming a health risk and against the Food, Drug and Chemical Substance Act Cap 254 laws of Kenya. Therefore, no sugar imported into the country should leave the port without rebagging.
PA, first of all, don't do rebagging. We don't do rebagging. We don't have facilities for rebagging. That's number one. Number two, in our KPA system, there is something known as hold. If you think this cargo is not supposed to be discharged, you just place an hold and nothing will move out. That role, portal have. The subsequent ships which came thereafter, they gave the green bill of health. So now, when you come and tell me that letter I just wrote and I expected KPA to implement.
The health department was also concerned over the manner in which the commodity was being stored at the port. However, all these alarms fell on deaf ears as the port authorities, together with KEBS, took no action. It's on this wide muddy surface where bulk sugar was stored for months, making it vulnerable to contamination. Workers at the port disclosed to us the unbelievable scene then.
Sukari inaletwa, inamwagwa kwa gala, inasukumwa na tingatinga, na sukari ni fine, ni vitu watu wanakunywa. Ambaye ile tingatinga, huwa ile kigwarusa ile floor, inashiaga ile floor kidogo, inaingia inachanganywa kwa ile chakula. Sasa si mzuri. na ni mara ya kwanza tumeona kwa hii mwaka tangu hiyo sukari ianze produce. Ilikuja sukari nyingi sana. Paka unapata sukari inawekwa pahali nje, mvua inanyesha, inapata imefunikwa na tandubari na ni chakula si mzuri.
Ile sukari shida yote iko pale multiple. Ile sukari walikuwa nabeba na ile gari kwa tipa. Na hiyo tipa iko na clinker ndani. Na hiyo tipa iko na nani anajua pale malo wanamwaga hiyo sukari. Kuna clinker mwagwa hapo, kuna kitu inaitwa iron yote mwagwa hapo. Sasa ndio naleta ile shida hati iko na makwili. Sasa mali wanamwaga ile sukari ndio ina shida. Sio hati sukari ilitoka na shida huko ngambo. Ni hapa. Waende wafanye uchunguzi hapo.
The Ministry of Health told the Parliamentary Committee that 60% of sugar seized and tested was moisturized and therefore unfit for human consumption. Kenya Bureau of Standards revealed to the committee that about 28% of samples found and tested from retail outlets such as kiosks and supermarkets was contaminated with higher moisture content, yeast and mold, as well as polarization and thereby unfit for human consumption.
If a product has failed the standard, then there is no other one to describe it as failed.
Out of the 17 counties where samples were tested, Mombasa County, where repackaging of contraband goods is rampant, was the most affected, with a staggering 8 out of 12 locations found to have contaminated sugar unfit for human consumption.
Kwa hivyo ni hali ya kusikitisha, hali ya kuhuzunisha, na sisi tunaomba serikali ingilie kati mambo haya yaishe once and for all.
Kama mkazi wa Mombasa, tumeghadhabishwa na mambo kama haya. Maana afya kitu ambayo inaenda na afya ya binadamu si nzuri kabisa kuchezewa. Maana wale waliokubali hii sukari kuingia, hapo ndio makosa ilitokea. Sana watu wa Kenya KEBS, kazi yao ni nini? Maana tunajua kwamba tunalindwa na ile chakula ambayo tunakula pia inaangaliwa vizuri. Wakati ikiingia nchini imeangaliwa vizuri, isiwe kitu ambayo itakuja kutudhuru.
Kitu ambayo inatushangaza ni kwa sababu watu wengi wanapenda kunywa chai, na vile imetangazwa ya kwamba Mombasa kuna contaminated sugar, tunaomba ya kwamba wale ambao wana supply na wale ambao agencies ambao wanahusika na mambo haya wachukulie jambo hili kwa maanani. Ni kwa sababu watu wengi wanaathirika kwa sababu ya hii mambo ya sugar, na wale ambao wana supply wao hali yao wanataka tu wakaweze kupata faida, lakini hawaangalii mwananchi wa kawaida.
With the puzzle surrounding the sugar saga yet to be cleared, what's even more unclear is that whether the government will in future issue gazette notices for future duty-free importation of important or rather vital commodities. But what's key is that this particular entry point right behind me, the port of Mombasa, is where reforms ought to start and happen fast. Seth Olale, NTV, Mombasa County.
Hapa ndio kuna siri kubwa ndio inafanyika. Kuanzia saa 11 ikielekea unusu mpaka usiku wote.